Yes, of course, of course.
Tickets to go somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. It is 6 o'clock on Monday, January 27th, so I will call to order the Winooski City Council. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Deputy Mayor Hal Colston.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First up is agenda review. Any concerns about the order of operations here? Concerns from the public? All right. Public comment. This is a chance for any member of the public to speak on a topic that is not in the agenda. So if you are here for an item on the agenda, please hold for that item. Any public comment? All right. Moving on to our consent agenda. We have 2 items for approval. We have the City Council minutes of January 21st and the warrant ending January 24th, 2020. Any questions or concerns? Any questions or concerns from the public? All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the City Council minutes of January 21, 2020, and the warrant ending January 24, 2020.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Mike, second by Amy. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Council reports. Can I start with you, Jim?
Yes, I don't have anything to report.
Likewise.
Me too.
I also don't have anything to report.
All right, me neither.
It's been a light week since our meeting last Tuesday. So next up, we have city updates.
So this is going to be quick. So just to start, just a reminder that ballots or petitions are due to be on the town meeting day ballot by 4:30 this coming Friday for school trustees and city councilors. I'm going to turn this over to Carol in a minute. She has been working with professionals from the Secretary of State's office and the Burlington City Clerk's office on information for our non-native English speakers who are eligible to vote about voting. So I want to give you, these videos are now up on the Secretary of State's website. Burlington hosted an event for New Americans last weekend, and we are hosting one on February 8th, and I'll let Carol talk a little about that, but I want to give you a sense of what these videos are. I'm going to just show you about 20 seconds. It's not going to be long. So this is the Nepali video. There are also, just going back here, now that I've had this all nice and set up, Swahili, Somali, Nepali, French, Burmese, and Arabic. So I'm going to start with the Nepali one. I'm not going to show you all. Just giving you, they're all the same.
यस भिडियोमा हामी तपाईलाई मतदान दिनका लागि दर्ता गर्ने र भर्मोन्टको चुनावहरूमा मतदान गर्ने
So this is this gentleman giving the introduction, and then he narrates the experience of somebody going to register to vote and then voting. So for example, somebody has registered
यदि
data.
तपाईँ नयाँ सहरमा सर्नुभयो भने तपाईँले त्यो नयाँ सहरमा मतदान गर्नका लागि दर्ता गर्न आवश्यक पर्दछ। यदि तपाईँ आफ्नो सहरभित्र नै सर्नुभयो भने तपाईँले क्लर्कको कार्यालयमा आफ्नो मतदान रेकर्ड अपडेट गर्नुपर्दछ। यो जान्न महत्त्वपूर्ण छ कि केवल नागरिकहरूले मात्र मतदान गर्न सक्दछ।
So that's the idea. It just walks you through registering to vote, coming here, doing a day of, going to the polling place, voting, and then also accompanying this is translated ballots that will be laminated so they can read the instructions in their native languages and then vote on the candidates. So Carol, can I pass this over to you to share what will actually happen next Saturday?
Next Saturday, the Secretary of State's office will be there doing the event with all the different languages. I'm going to have a booth there with applications to register to vote and also applications for absentee request. And so these ballots, they're going to be laminated, and they're also going to get an English ballot, which is going to mirror theirs, so they can fill it in, and then they will put the English ballot through the machine, and then we'll have the laminated stuff use afterwards.
Awesome.
It's beautiful.
And it's going to be so much easier on election day. They try so hard to vote and ask questions, and you know, I don't understand them, they don't understand me, and this is just gonna be amazing.
That's awesome. We heard about this a while ago, these videos, so it's really cool to see that lighting up and
That was a
running.
fun day.
Yeah.
It really was.
And they're all linked off of our website. So if we have neighbors who are looking for them, you can go onto the Secretary of State's website or our website to find them. Just a couple of other quick updates. I mentioned last meeting that John Rauscher and I were going to meet with the rail about the Mallards Bay Ave crossing. We did have that meeting. Not much is known at this point, but what we learned is that it's likely this work will happen in the fall, this coming fall of 2020. And what they suggested was that the actual replacement of the rail crossing is what's going to shut down Mallards Bay Ave, but it will only be for about 3 to 5 days. So it will be a disruption, but not a long drawn out disruption. And then while they're paving, they'll keep one-way traffic open.
And obviously you'll provide ample
Oh, yes,
ample notice to the businesses down there?
absolutely, yep. This was just an initial meeting and wanted to follow up because we really didn't know whether this was gonna be a many months disruption or a very small disruption, and I think it's gonna be very small, but absolutely, we will be doing much more notice as they finalize their schedule.
Perfect.
And then a few just quick program reminders. So registration's open for the February Thrive Vacation Camp. The theme this year is going to be Tropical Beach. So if your little ones are looking for things to do over February break, they can register on the website. Mr. Chris, who is a very popular public television character, will be at the Winooski Memorial Library on Wednesday, February 12th at noon. It's open to the public. Everyone's welcome to come. We had our first Friday movie night for families at the Senior Center this past week and have them coming up again on February 7th and March 6th. So first Friday evenings of the month, if you're looking for something to do with your kiddos, we'll be doing movies at the Senior Center. And then we're also launching an American Sign Language introductory course. The deadline for registering for that is this Friday. And it will run Friday evenings from 4 to 6 from February 7th through March 27th. And those are all available on the website if people are interested. That's all I got.
Thank you. This brings us to our next item on the agenda. A public hearing has been noticed for the consideration of the FY21 budget and capital plan across all funds. At this time, I would like to open the public hearing. This is time to take public comment. Not sure if anyone is here to make public comment on the budget. In that case, seeing no public comments, I will now close the public hearing and proceed to our regular items on the agenda. So first up is FY21 General Fund Budget and Capital Plan. This is up for approval. We have been discussing this for weeks on end. We had a good discussion last week. I think kind of getting to our final thoughts. Were there any other, did you all want to surface any other questions, concerns, comments? All right, so I would take a motion to approve the FY21 General Fund Budget and Capital Plan as is.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Amy, second by Hal. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the 2020 Town Meeting Day warning. So this is the notice that will go out about what folks are going to see on Town Meeting Day. Any questions or concerns about this item?
So if I can just do a very quick overview of the next 4 agenda items.
Sure.
So with the approval of the FY21 budget as presented, the next votes are the votes that are required to kind of make that happen. So you are obligated to, as the mayor just outlined, vote to approve the annual meeting warning, which says what the actual general fund budget number is and the amount to be raised by property taxes. We're then asking you to approve the 2 water and wastewater rate resolutions, which are the rate structure that's built into the FY21 budget, and then approve all the other fund budgets. And when we get to E, I would like to talk about that one for just a quick minute.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, if we approve that budget, we have to approve these waste and water rates, so. Any questions from folks? So I'd entertain a motion to approve the 2020 town meeting day warning.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Jim. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, resolution FY21 water rates. Any questions, comment here? Someone like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Hal, second by Mike. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the resolution for the FY21 wastewater rates. Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Mike. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item E, FY21 fund budgets. I will pass it to Jesse.
Thank you. So also linked off of the agenda is the complete FY21 budget book that you also have. That includes the general fund budget and all the other enterprise or special revenue fund budgets. Tonight we are asking for your approval of water, wastewater, parking, community services, community justice, tax increment financing, and rental registry. What we are not asking you to approve tonight is the Winooski Community Development Corporation fund budget. And the reason for that is with the approval of the TIF budget, you are allocating payment of the CDC note. At the beginning of your next meeting, we'll ask that you convene as the CDC trustees, receive that payment, and allocate it back to the city for community development purposes. And then at your regular meeting next week, then we will ask you to approve that CDC budget. So it's a little bit of a weird nuance to how we have to appropriately approve these funds, but that's why we're asking you to approve all of the funds but for that CDC fund and come back to that at the next meeting.
Any questions? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the FY21 fund budgets?
So
Second.
Motion by Hal, second by Mike. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now that the good stuff is out, we are on to another approval. Low-income housing tax credit letter of support for 223 East Allen. Heather will join us and some partners on the project.
Yes.
We
Tom
have,
Getz and Nate Jeff.
thank you.
Good evening. I told these guys it would be a pretty quick slate before them, even though they were late on the agenda. Tom and Nate are working together on a project at 223 East Allen Street and have requested a letter of support from the city of Winooski for their application for low-income housing tax credits. This is the same team that did the Cassavant Overlook project, and once again, they're looking to do a true mixed income building. So the project would be comprised of, at this point, it is planned to be 35 affordable units and 11 market rate units. You also have a zoning conformance memo that's been issued by Eric, just to give you an idea. It isn't yet approved, but is in the process of approval. The proposed project aligns with the city's strategic vision and master plan goals of maintaining housing affordability, and a letter of support for the low-income housing tax credits for the project would continue our city commitment to affordability and housing development to meet our community's needs. So staff recommends approval of the letter of support, and if you have any questions, I have these guys here to answer those questions for you.
I would share too that they came before the planning commission as well for approval and did receive it. That group had a pretty robust discussion about the project and I think provided some feedback that you all actually worked into your designs. So there has been a little bit of digging in on this already.
And yeah, I'll just give a short little statement for those of you who aren't too familiar with us at Summit Properties, and I think Nate and Jess have done more work in Winooski. Cassavant was our first project that we at Summit have done in Winooski, but we've been developing affordable housing for 20 years. John Gievink is here, he's one of the other partners at Summit with myself. And this public process is really critical to the tax credit affordable housing world, making sure that we're building projects that the community is involved in, supports, and it is in from the very beginning. It's been months that we've been going back and forth with design, with Eric and Jesse, and talking through not just building something we can get permitted, but something that meets the needs of the city. And so that is really an important part of why we're here today. This tax credit application is going to be submitted on Friday, and once a year, the state allocates this money. It's a really scarce resource, so that's why it's really important for us to come before you, answer any questions you have, and in a couple of months, we'll let you know if we get the awards, which make this all possible. Nate, I don't know if there's anything you want to add?
I don't think I have anything additional to add, but if you have any questions, certainly we're here to help.
I will say that when I'm not talking to residents, I hear about housing affordability all the time. And as Heather pointed out, this is aligned to that goal within our master plan. I also appreciate that this is another mixed-use building with both subsidized and market rate, because we've also heard from our housing commission that we are looking for more middle income affordability and more market rate units. And this is also in a gateway, which is where we want to see this kind of dense development. Do y'all wanna-
I appreciate your due diligence on letting the neighbors know and keeping their feelings and opinions. I like how you guys go around. I know, Nate, you did some, I know some of the neighbors down there, and you did some reach out, and I appreciate that. I think contractors, when they come to our city to develop, it's important to have the neighbors around you, especially if you're doing a building that size, just to make sure everyone's happy. And conversations go a long way, and it makes process easier, in my opinion. I hate to be Debbie Downer, but if this doesn't go through, do you guys have a backup plan?
There's always multiple backup plans. It is part of the, when building affordable housing, we always know that it's a scarce resource, and that when we go in knowing that if we don't get the credits this round, I mean, we've been working with VHFA for a few months. We know we have a very solid project that it's going to compete well. If it doesn't get it, the number one plan would be to come back again in a year, revise the plan if necessary. There's other sources of funding besides just this, the main tax credits that is the application that's the primary driver. But we are ready to come back and try again, which is oftentimes what it takes with these larger scale of affordable projects, that you've got to be committed to come back and try again if you don't get it.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from council?
I'm just kind of curious, you have the experience now of Casavan Overlook, anything you're kind of looking to do differently, or just like things that worked really well that you want to do the same? Just kind of how you're thinking about this project in comparison to that one.
Yeah, I mean, Casavan it was fully leased, all the affordable units were fully leased a month before we opened. The whole project was fully occupied within a month of opening, so the demand was very strong. The only slight change we've made in unit mix was that Casavan has 22 two-bedrooms and 17 one. The two bedrooms, although they filled up, the one-bedroom demand was very high. So we tweaked this mix now. It's a little more heavier on the one-bedroom studios than it is on the two. This is going to be 19 one-bedrooms, 16 studios, and 10 two-bedrooms. So it's still a mix, but that demand was really strong on the one. So that was one tweak we made. Not really. We got really good feedback on the unit quality, layouts. People were really happy. They're pretty spacious units. I don't know if there's anything else you can think of that.
Just some constructability items. I think working along East Allen, we've learned some things that will work better for this next phase, but it worked pretty well for the first phase as well. So tweaking a few things on the construction side, but that's all I have on my end.
I assume no questions from the public. Anything else up here? So I would entertain a motion to approve low-income housing tax credit letter of support for 223 East Allen.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Amy, second by Hal. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for adding more affordable housing to our community.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
So our next item is also for approval. This is about city manager's review process. So annually, as Jesse's bosses, we go through a review process with her, just as other staff do here at the city. And so we have outlined in this memo a review process for leadership team members, us as council, to give feedback. Just want to get approval on the process here, the schedule. We did list an executive session tonight in case we really want to get in the weeds on anything, but I think generally the content of the memo is fine to discuss. Anything to
Yeah,
add?
So absolutely, the process, the tools, completely appropriate for open session. Personally, I don't feel like we need an executive session today, but if there were specific questions you'd had about past reviews or content or anything like that, that either you wanted to discuss as a council before you completed your individual responses, it's warned, but it's up to you. One of the things I did realize as I was going over these documents again this weekend is that I failed to put on this document opportunity for me to do a self-evaluation and to do kind of some stage setting around our shared expectations. I would like to do that, and so I will follow the same schedule and provide that to you as part of the comment, but I didn't call it out specifically on here, so I wanted to just bring it up now. I do think, especially a year into a very new council, I think it's an opportune moment to talk about generally how things are going and make sure that we're all on the same page about expectations. So I will be putting that together. But other than that, this is a process that's very close to the processes we followed for the last 2 years. In fact, it's the exact same kind of ranking score. So if you wanted to see those rankings from before, you could also look at that data over time. It's a tool that is used by my professional organization for manager reviews across the country. So it's well tested and well proven, and I certainly find a lot of valuable feedback from this tool, as well as the feedback I get from the leadership team as they complete their tool as well.
So for point of process, Amy, as our administrative liaison, is going to kind of manage the paperwork flow here. So we will all have a chance to use this tool for rating and narrative feedback. She will then compile and aggregate all of the feedback. We will have a chance to review that, and then we would have an executive session to discuss the results.
Are these results public? Or are they internal?
How have we done that? It's a good question. I believe in past years they have been shared only in executive session. I think we could talk about that if it's something that you all would like to make public. I think we should talk about that in executive session, but I think following executive session certainly is. How the former mayor and administrative liaison handled it was the aggregate data, so all the words and all the numbers were shared with the 5 of you and were shared with me. And then the mayor and the administrative liaison kind of put together an aggregate statement that said, this is, a couple paragraphs on the overall evaluation, things that went well, things to improve, et cetera, and kind of read that in summary into the public record. That's a way to handle it. It doesn't have to be the way your council chooses to handle it.
So basically we get a summary after the process is done of the findings?
You will get everything.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
council will get every word and every number that is written, and I will get every word and every number that is written. And then how the mayor and the liaison have handled in the past is after the review is completed, read either that night into the record or at the following meeting, a summary of what was discussed in executive session.
Okay.
If you would like everything to be public, we could talk about that during.
No, I was just wondering if to do our due diligence, if we went back on your past findings and see, kind of compare, because this is my first year as a counselor, so I'm rating you on just my year experience, but I like to see what happened of your evaluation last year or the year before and compare where you are now, because to see if there's growth, which I'm sure there is, because you're very professional at your job. So might be something I might want to read.
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So those documents right now are not publicly available. Okay. If the 5 of you wanted to see my last 2 reviews, I would be happy to share those with you in an email.
Perfect.
Are you all in? I think people may have conflicting opinions about that. So.
I would recommend holding that until we submit our rating, so it doesn't color our own experience.
Yes, I agree.
It was going to be a question if we can have it before the actual review meeting, but after submitting.
Yeah, I think so.
That was going to be hard.
When our submissions are distributed, I think that could be included at the same time. So we'd be seeing the results of all of us rating and then the past ratings.
So just looking at this timeline, February 12th, the compiled results will go back out to all of us. So after that, I will send out so February 13th at the latest, I will send you out my past years.
Or just on the 12th.
Right, after they're sent out. One other comment to make about that, tangentially related, so I also share a summary of my evaluation with the leadership team. So I've done that for the last few years. So again, they don't see all the words and numbers, but the summary of what I have heard and what I've taken away from it, we do discuss at the leadership table as well.
This all sounds appropriate based on my experience in annual review processes at other organizations as well.
Same, the
Some
evaluation form looked very similar to what we use, so.
Any other ideas, questions? Does this sound like a plan? All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve the city manager's review process.
So moved?
Second?
Motion by Mike, second by Jim. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. This brings us to the end of our agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
What?
Motion by Mike, second by Jim. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
It's gotta be a record.
Yeah,
Well done.
thanks all.